Sippers, sippets, welcome back to another episode of Pour Your Own Problems. I am your host, Mercy. You may not like Trump. You may not like his policies. You may not like how he communicates. But the point is, does the man get the job done? I believe liberals, Democrats, they all got their pennies in a bunch. They're ready to pounce on anything that he says or does. Just this past Sunday, they were complaining in an uproar from the statements he made on Truth Social. Let's review.
Hey, boss, he ain't working.
Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering. They would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot.
And right there, he hit the nail on the head. We're so accustomed to having these privileges and having the freedom of speech and doing what we want to do. We can pretty much walk outside butt naked now in America. And half of these things you cannot do whatsoever, let alone in other countries, but for sure in Iran. And so what he's stating, I could see actual being facts. I'm not saying I know that for sure, but the amount of people based upon our immigration and based upon what we have gathered over the last few years, people are starving for freedom in Iran, and you will take anything, in my opinion, when that's the case.
The thing I want to ask about is this conversation about war crimes. I haven't wanted to go too far with this because there's not been a bombing yet. We don't know what the next 24 hours will bring. But here's Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut talking to us at CNN on Monday about whether or not these specific threats that are talking about bridges, power plants, et cetera, are orienting us towards a war crime.
The clear answer is yes. It would be a war crime. And that's why it is so important for Congress now to establish accountability, say no to this war by passing the War Powers Resolution, say no to additional spending. And my Republican colleagues, maybe for the first time in any Trump administration, should show some spine and stand up in a moment of national crisis.
Now, the Iran terror regime has under 12 hours to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or get bombed to the Stone Age. Moments ago, President Trump doubling down, saying, quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight. One of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran.
Let's bring in American Newsroom co-anchor Bill Hemmer joins us now.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Great coverage. All right. Watching it by the minute.
You've been around a long time. You've seen many presidents and how they operate in times of conflict. The president put out this statement. The deadline is 8 p.m. Eastern time. Where do we go from here?
You know, it's 12 hours and 21 minutes, guys, really trying to read between the lines and watching the language back and forth. We're going to be watching it by the hour. I was speaking with a senior U.S. official very close to these talks, actually, a bit earlier today. Maybe about 45 minutes ago. And the quote I got from this individual is that we are absolutely in touch with Iran. Absolutely. It's been productive. If we get lucky, we will have something by the end of the day.
And I'm going to take his word for it. Think about it like this. we're dealing with someone that wrote The Art of the Deal. And time after time, he has shown us this method. They seem to forget that Trump been talking like this for a long time, and nothing has changed. To go off basis off of what he said versus what he has done thus far, I think is illegitimate by the Democrats, by these liberals, with all this fear mongering. He's only stating what he plans on doing. But I also can see the strategy within that. He may say something publicly, but behind closed doors and all these ancillary movements that's going on, taking place behind the scenes that we don't see, I would beg to differ that Congress members already know some of these things, but they're not even going to come out and tell us what they actually know. They're going to fearmonger us like this senator here. Let's review.
Every member of Congress and senator must be calling for Trump's removal today based on the 25th Amendment. He is threatening the entire destruction of a civilization. He is calling Iranians animals. He is showing a total disregard for the humanity of people in Iran, in Gaza, in Cuba. This is a moral crime. It is a war crime. We need to be demanding that Congress convene today, and we need to be invoking the 25th Amendment.
And so you want to invoke the 25th Amendment off of a threat? Off of something that it hasn't even happened yet? See, they trigger happy. They're so trigger happy, they don't see the play. And I think it's fascinating that we can keep on hearing them. We gotta put them up on impeachment. We gotta put them up on impeachment. But this same rhetoric was said by Hillary Clinton. Let's review.
I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that, because that perhaps will deter them from doing something that would be reckless, foolish, and tragic.
Now, you hear what Hillary Clinton is saying. I wonder if Dems will have pushback with what Hillary was saying. Regardless if you like her or not, would they have so much animosity? I beg to say that they wouldn't. But they're so quick to try to pull the trigger prematurely. Nothing has happened, and you already talking about impeachment. I think it's foolish. And this is why I believe that I don't respect anything that these Democrats or these liberals have to say, because objectively, since Trump got into office, it has been major pushback with any and everything that he tries to implement or do. As I've stated in previous videos, if he's going to mess up, he's going to mess up. Let him mess up. Allow him the opportunity to mess up if you feel that's what he's going to do. He's going to hand himself on a platter to you. But when you're already prematurely trying to interject something, it makes your case run flat, in my opinion. But let's look at this update from President Trump concerning Iran.
We're just getting some breaking news here about the war. The president has just issued a truth social from the White House saying this: based on conversations with Prime Minister Sharif and Field Marshal Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran, agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Again, just seconds ago, before the deadline for attacks on Iran tonight, and it seems like a deal is in the making. There had been talk, Mark, all day long about maybe this was happening. How do you see this, and how does it play politically here at home?
Well, I think the president had to do it if he could get terms that include an unconditional opening of the strait, which
Because
sounds
the markets
like he's gotten.
had to look at that and say
He has to do it because, look, people are, in my latest poll, 51% support the war, 54% said it was justified, but 57% said if he could get a good deal, he should take it. So I think it's a risky 2-week period because it enables them to regroup. But on the other hand, the president, if he thinks he has a real opportunity to come out with a negotiated victory, then I think he had to do it.
A lot of people got, really energized about some of the things he posted about, annihilation, civilization. But now he's coming with this deal, Kellyanne. How do you see this big
It's
picture?
the 11th straight year of them in high dudgeon about everything he writes and says. He said he doesn't care about his critics, but he does care about getting peace and a just cause here. He does care about oil flowing again. If he gets a deal, the ultimate deal maker, part of how he wins these elections, Brett, then that will matter to people. There's one group that he's not mentioning at all. They're called Europe and NATO. It's really fascinating what's happened there in a short amount of time. You even have Vladimir Zelensky running around in these Gulf state countries saying, I'm not getting weapons, I'm giving them to you and giving you our intelligence for the last couple of years in this war with Russia. It's really fascinating what's happened there in short order. NATO's coming to the White House tomorrow. I think Mark Rutte, the Secretary General himself, has forged a good relationship with Trump, but the NATO countries have not. And he's not even mentioning them as part of this deal. This is all about the countries around Iran. Look, this is what we expect from presidents. You're not going to get a good deal unless you pressure and they think that you're serious. And the same country that sent 155 aircraft in to rescue one of our airmen, if not two, just this past weekend, is a country that is going to do what it takes to keep everyone safe and to push back on the largest state sponsor of terror, but also to tell the people who are relying on the Strait of Hormuz, like Europe, for its energy. We need you to help as well.
We just did this breakdown of how much flows through that strait. It's remarkable. Our oil does not as much, but fertilizer does. It's a big part of the world economy.
Well, it's a big part of the world economy, but the U.S. could sustain a 60 or 90-day war because there's about 20 million barrels a day that we consume. $50 extra, it's about $1 billion a day, a small amount relative in a $30 trillion economy. So we could have withstood it, but on the other hand, I think the markets are going to react very well. And I think remember that scene from Patton, where Patton goes crazy, and his aide says, the men don't know when you're kidding or when you're not. And Patton says, it's not important for them to know, it's important for me to know.
Yeah.
So I think we see that today, that the president was tough. He put pressure on Iran, and it looks like they're caving.
So just to reiterate,
and I think that's what it's all about. The art of the deal, getting the job done. And like I said, you may not like him. You may not like how he talks. You may not like that he says what's on his mind, but you got to give props where prop is due. He gets the job done. He gets the deal done. And hey, we don't know what Iran is going to do. They may decide to regroup and we have to start all over again. But the bottom line is he wanted his objective for those posts, for this situation, was to get the Strait of Hormuz open. He did that. So people got to stop depending on this fear mongering that you hear from the Democrats, from liberals, from like, do your own research and gather the information. Use your context clues. Stop jumping out the window because of what you hear, and go off of what you see in the repetition that President Trump has been laying out for years, for decades now. They don't call him the master of the art of the deal for no reason. And I think that people gotta be more aware. So sippers, sippets, y'all tell me how y'all feel about this in the comments. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It's your boy Mercy. I'm out.